Evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to the Lights Too Bright pod. And for those of you who are returning, thank you for joining us. For those who are here for the first time, please like, share, and follow for more interesting tales from my friends and colleagues. Today, I am going to be talking to a friend who I know very much through the industry, someone who basically came into the practice and said, hello, I work for this company and I will be helping you with A, B, C, and D. And now he's too big for us. So he doesn't come and visit us anymore, even though his head office is like 2 miles up the road. But hey, so I've had to talk to him via pod. So it is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Hans Sunnassee. Hi, Hans. How are you, mate?
Hey, yeah, not too bad. Yourself, Keyur?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm sweating. I'm here in my vest. It's warm. I'm sitting in my wife's office, which is like, for some reason, one of the warmest rooms in this building. But I can't sit anywhere else because otherwise there'll be kids running around and TVs on and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
So
suppose that's why I
yeah,
switched my office to upstairs to the corner of the bedroom. Hence,
it's it's all right. It's fine. It's all good. This is how we roll. So Hans, there are many people in the industry who already know you. Okay, mainly because of what you do. But for those who are listening who don't know you, what is your current role? What is your current job?
so my current role is I'm global business development manager for Menicon for their MTO side of the products, and my main focus and role is the Rose K family of lenses. So for all
Okay,
your irregular keratoconus patients.
so just because I'm pretty certain I know what MTO means, but is that made to order?
Yeah, so made to order specialty lenses. So
Okay.
custom build RGPs, custom build softs, sclerals, all the weird
Yeah.
and wonderfuls.
Okay. And where, where are you based? Where is home? D- You know,
So so where home now at the moment is Hastings on the south coast. So
yep.
not a lot of people know where Hastings is, but it's sort of down the road from Brighton. And then if you carry on going to the other side is Southampton.
Yep.
So from here I can see my kayak that's sitting in the garden, and then I can see the sea. So
Nice. Fantastic. And has Hastings always been home?
no, so Hastings hasn't always been home. I came to the UK when I was 5. So
Okay.
I was born in Mauritius, a little island in the south of the Indian Ocean near Madagascar. My dad came a couple years before I did, and he came here to train as a nurse through the NHS.
Yeah.
Sort of didn't see him for a good while, and then once he had qualified, he brought us over. Me, my sister, my mum. I lived in South London in Croydon
Okay.
um, for a little while with my mum's brother until my dad got a house, and then we moved down. But I sort of like skitted between North London, South London, and then Norfolk, which is a bit of a difference, but yeah. So,
Why Norfolk?
while my mum's other brother lived in a town called Attleborough,
Okay. Yeah.
so
All right.
just
Fine.
south
That
of.
makes sense. And I think, you know what, I think for many people who are not of South Asian heritage or maybe even like West Indian heritage, I don't think they will understand what our parents did and went through to be here, um, to get us set up, so that we we're fortunate enough to be in the situations we are now, positions we are now,
Absolutely.
living in communal houses, um, till there was enough money for someone to buy a house and then they would move out. And it was such a strong sense of community, which, yeah, for me, it's a bit of a shame. Yeah, I miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's nice having my own home, and my kids are very fortunate. They don't. really want for anything. Well, they want lots of stuff, but I'm not letting them have it. Um, but we don't see as much community as we used to when we were kids, when everyone was just there
Yeah,
together,
no, absolutely. Yeah,
um, and doing stuff. But
because my
that's a
my
different
dad,
pod.
yeah, my dad came over. Like I say, worked for the NHS. He had maybe a five or tenner in his pocket. Sort of did the system, and then yeah, we growing up. Even when we had our own house, but growing up for years, we'd spend time in Norfolk, time in South London, North London. Just all of us as a big family get together, Christmas, Boxing Day, summers.
Yeah,
Um, as we got older and had our own families, that sort of distance, and I'd I'd get to see some of my family, but not as much. But yeah, I
yeah.
absolutely totally get it.
Um, coming back round to why we're here. So, your dad being in healthcare,
Yeah.
was that uh influence kind of, did that make you feel that you wanted to be in healthcare? Did it make you think, hell no, I don't want to be in healthcare? Because unlike many of my guests today, you're not an optometrist and you're not a dispensing optician.
No, well, absolutely. So my before up to the day my dad passed away, he was constantly saying, you know, you need to go into healthcare because you've got that sort of mentality. Going through school and education, he's like, you're going to be good. Go into the healthcare system. Because he was a mental health nurse, well, manager, so he ran some mental health occupation. I'm not sure if that's the right term now, but learning
Yeah,
disabilities. But I was like, no, not doing it. Absolutely not doing it. That's not for me. So I went into sales and I did business marketing at university down in Brighton. Did that, went into some telesales stuff, um, worked some other sales jobs, but yeah, I was adamant that I was not going into the healthcare system.
and and here you are, sort of
Well, yeah,
uh
that's the funny thing because
not quite patient facing, but
no,
pretty bloody close.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, when he found out what I was doing as my role or
Yeah,
my roles for the last few years, he laughed and he said to me, "I told you to go into the healthcare system, but now
yeah.
you're helping the healthcare system, but on a business side and a sales side when you could have been working in that healthcare system." So yeah, he laughed
I
and
bet
he
that's,
enjoyed it.
yeah. And you know, if typical Asian parent told you,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
told you, you know, that's where that's the art. But that is great. So where, how did you get into the ophthalmic industry beyond, you know, regular sales and telesales and stuff like that? What pulled you in?
So to be honest with you, I fell into it by accident, pure accident. So I was working for some stonemasons and I was doing some work across Europe, got made redundant in another crash that we have quite regularly in the UK. Um, I was out of work for about 9 months, and then
Okay.
I had a really good friend, couple good friends actually, that worked at Number Seven Contact Lenses,
Yeah.
and they turned around and said, "Oh, there's a job going at Number Seven in sales." So okay, give that a crack. Can't,
Yeah.
nothing's worked for the last 9 months, even trying to stack
Yeah.
shelves. So yeah, so that's how that happened, and then sort of worked as a telesales salesperson for Number Seven for about a year.
So what does
Um,
that entail before you move on? So what does that entail? Because I
so
don't understand how you can have telesales for a contact lens company.
so it
Does that
was
make sense?
sales slash telesales. So more, it's hard. So the basic term would be a telesales, but it's
Yeah.
more of a consulting thing. So telling them that there's a new product around. So I was there when So Clear was launched, for example, and
Okay.
then Synergize came into the UK and some other various products, and talked to them about the quasar design, so the aspheric and spherical designs, and just gave customers practitioners up and down the country a ring, see how it's going. Obviously, saw them
Yeah.
at conferences. So
Yes.
it's more of a soft sell rather than a hard sell.
Yeah.
I think everyone
Yeah.
thinks of us telesales as, you call up really trying
Yeah.
to push the works on it. That's not how it works.
Yeah. And so then how did you, so I'm assuming you had the training for it. You weren't just given a book and you know, a phone and go ring all these people. How as someone who, because we forget, like I've been doing this 30 almost, 25 years, right? So do you remember what it was like when you kind of entered this world of optics and
Yeah.
what did,
So it was nerve-wracking because again, I hadn't done anything medically, like any sort of healthcare or medical devices or anything, so I had no knowledge. I did get some books to read.
yeah,
Obviously looked at the websites, had the technical director, Kevin Taylor at the time, um, there really supported me, helped me understand a bit more. But yeah, it was self-learning really. I've always been one of these weird people that I want to know more, give me more information and learn more. But that role wasn't for me, to be fair. I'm not a behind the desks or behind the phone type sort of person. So I did that for about a year, and then I think we were toying with the idea. Well, I was toying with the idea. Okay, so what's next for me? And then actually an opportunity came up to look after the hospitals within the number seven business
yeah,
and see, do some more sort of discussing the products, but out in the field, so face to face.
yeah,
And that was more me. I like to talk, so that's what I do. Uh, but the one thing I didn't want to do is go into the hostel community and support these guys without having enough information again. So
yeah,
actually, there was a few people that helped me out in that sort of first 6 months to really gain the knowledge. To name but a few, Caroline Hodds, so Dr. Caroline Hodds, Keith
yeah,
Tempany.
yeah,
I spent a good couple of weeks with Caroline, good couple of weeks with Keith Tempany, and actually um, a good couple of weeks with one of our friends, Brian. So
yeah,
and what I essentially did is sat in a room and just absorbed information while they were fitting patients, while they were discussing with patients, as long as the patients were happy with it.
yeah,
So I had enough information because dealing with the hospitals, it's not about the sale or how much profit or margin. Obviously, you've done some hospital work in the past. You know it's not about that. It's about how can I rectify this situation or give this patient good vision or um, adequate vision to function
yeah,
at at the at the least amount of time. So
yeah. Uh, that's and it's. I think I think one of the reasons why I wanted you on, Hans, was because I'd like particularly those people who are getting maybe a bit bored of sitting in a consulting room, right? I want them to really understand that, you know what, if you have a capacity to learn and are prepared to learn, that within the industry, there's actually a lot you can do. You don't necessarily have to be a god of myopia or contact lenses or dry eye. If you maintain that capacity to learn and have an interest in something, you can make side steps and things like that, which you've shown in such a great way, because you're an expert in your field, but you don't have that standard background that we would expect
yeah,
of most of our prof services team, are either CLOs or optoms and things like that. And that's part of the reason why I thought, let's get hands on. He does like to talk, so at least I'll get at least 30 minutes out of him. If nothing else, we'll have a bit of a joke. And people can see that journey. So you did. How long were you with Number Seven?
So I think I was with number seven for 8 years, 9 years,
Okay.
maybe a little bit less. But so I ended up doing quite a lot with them. So looking after the hospitals, helped launch the Synergize lenses when they came into the UK. Did some topography training. Did some CET at the time that it was. Um, because although I could discuss a lot of the complex lenses that I was trying to convince practitioners to try to help
Yeah.
patients is not really about the margins. It was more about, and you will know this working in the practice that you're in, is having that ability or that option to help patients, but also you would know, and I think we've had conversations in the past, is like, how do I fit this lens? And the best
Yep.
way to learn is actually face to face and hands on and doing it together. So I ended
Yep.
up doing more practical work with practitioners and patients than actually sort of presentations and selling type stuff. So
And I mean, from your experience, you learned from some fantastic people. Very, Brian's extremely passionate, weirdly passionate about contact lenses, and has such a unique way of um, enthusing people about it. Kind of, you're there and you're kind of just absorbed in his ability to be so enthusiastic and passionate. 45 years in,
yeah,
and you're right. I think the best way to learn it is just to do it, and
yeah,
it's not very often you're going to damage someone's eye with a
no,
contact lens. I mean, you have to do something very, very, very bad to damage someone's eye. So that having that confidence to be able to put a contact lens on eye and really just assess the fit and talk to whoever the prof service is, BDM, whatever the title is, for that role, for your person, and go, look, this is what it's doing. I think I need to make this change. What do you
yeah,
think? And they'll just talk you through it, and that way you learn. I came from not a specialty contact lens background when I started working with Brian, um, and now I'm relatively comfortable, um, you know, talking to most professional services and telling them I don't know what's going on,
yeah,
and hoping that they'll fix it for me.
yeah.
You
And
know,
I think that's the rule in life, just being humble. I mean, the on the side of practitioners, I've always said is, you know what, the professional services team or the technical team have probably seen that or fixed the issues with a patient that they have in a chair 20 times that same day. And it's just the fact that the experience, the seeing it, and the knowledge, and imparting knowledge is just the best thing to do for me. The industry, the optics industry for me is probably, and bear in mind I've worked in a few in different industries, um, it's the most friendly community type base
okay,
I've seen so far.
yeah,
Everyone, obviously, you always get ones that are a bit special, but most of them want to help each other out. Most of them want to impart knowledge. There's a big community spirit within it all. Um, no one wants to be better than the other person as such, which is just a really nice way of doing things.
yeah. I agree. I think it, particularly because you see a lot of people going from, and we'll get we'll get to you about this, how people go from one manufacturer to another manufacturer to another, that kind of stuff. And you're right, there is no animosity. It's just like, oh, that's the way it is. um Everyone gets together at a conference, has a drink, catches up, has fun. There's no like bitter rivalry like potentially you hear about in other industries,
Yeah,
which makes it nice. It makes it quite a family-esque type industry to be in.
absolutely.
So Number Seven, and then
So I had a small transition. I went to a company called Positive Impact. So
yep,
Maxine and Nick Atkins. So there I sort of got more involved in dry eye side of things.
Okay.
Did some dry eye stuff, some inflammatory marker stuff, selling again, and then Synergize um, sort of disconnected with number seven and came directly into the UK. So we helped them do that. And then the natural view lenses, I helped launch that into the UK. Again, punctal plugs, did some bits like that. But it was good. For me, I think it was a stepping stone more than anything else. Again, trying to get that knowledge. I think I missed contact lenses too much.
Okay.
Um, so I worked for them for 3 years, and then Menicon came a knocking, Menicon UK,
Yeah.
and they had asked a couple of times before, and I was like, no, I've got to give these guys a chance. So I joined the Menicon UK team up in Northampton in Round Spinney, just
Yep.
10, 15 minutes away from the practice where you are. Um, so, and essentially, I went back into looking after the hospitals. So,
Okay.
looking after and training on Rose K, um, doing hands-on fitting sessions with the Time Excel, the Rose K stuff. Obviously, I didn't handle the patients, the practitioners did because I'm not insured to do that. So I can teach and when they had the lens on, I could go, look, you need to change this or do this. So guiding them through it. And
Yeah.
actually, that's for me, that's a better way of what I do or what we should do is because it's not hard sell. It's more of like, okay, now I'm getting more confident. And if you ask Brian this, he'll tell you the amount of times he used to call me and go, how do I do this again? I'm like, right, you didn't listen the first time, Brian. Let's try and listen this time. And you know what Brian's like.
Yeah. 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 10 minutes later, what did I? I'm the same. I'm not. I'm like in terms of learning bad habits. That's probably one of the worst habits. Is that sometimes I'm like I'm just too busy. I can't sit here and break this down.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that's part of the reason we invested so much in imaging. It's like, right,
yeah,
take a photo. This is exactly what it looks like. Ping it off to Hans and go, Hans, what
yeah. And
this is
that's
what's
the best
happening.
thing.
Please send me a fix.
Yeah. And that's what you need to do. I mean, you guys in practice have such limited time to make those decisions instantly. If you can capture an image, if you can record an image, even a little scribble and send it through, will be able
Yeah,
to help you. You've got to get that patient in and out. And actually, they need functioning vision, whatever that functioning vision is.
yeah,
And you've got everything to think about, not just the contact lenses. You've just got their eye health generally.
yeah,
And contact lenses are a small part of it. But yeah, no. So Menicon gave me a great opportunity. And to be fair, I've always chased the Rose K lenses because I think that family of lenses, for me, in terms of corneal lenses, is always there and always
okay,
has been there. And it was always, I haven't got it. That's the lens I want to talk about and discuss
yeah,
because it is one of the ones I think is the top for corneal lenses. So I worked for them for about 5 years, helped launch the Menicon Bloom system, the myopia system. They had some scleral lenses. I did some in practice teaching. And then the global team turned around and said, how about you come work for us? So I was like, okay, so what does that entail? What does that entail? And actually, it ticks most of my boxes because growing up, being in sales, and the reason
yeah,
for me being in sales and doing business and marketing is because the linguistics course at university actually didn't happen in the end. But coming from Mauritius, and you'll know this, seeing different cultures and different societies, I wanted to see more and learn more. What better way than that than working? So
yeah,
when the global team said, "Oh, do you want to come help us and work as a business development for Rose K and potentially get more involved in the other speciality lenses?" I was like, "That sounds cool." Because I've traveled the country for what 15, 16 years in the UK. Now I get
yeah,
to see a bit of the rest of the world. and
Yep.
actually staying with the same company. So Menicon's slightly different. It's a weird collection of like a group, as it were, if you don't know. So Menicon head office is in Japan, so it's not just
Yep.
down the road. The UK office is in Northampton, but we have obviously offices in or labs in the Netherlands, in France, and in various parts of the world. And then we have partners that we that license our products and stuff. So I help a lot with the business and developing on that. I do some webinar trainings. I joined the global team April 24, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time out in the States, done a bit of Europe, but it's still early days. Again, that for me was another leap of faith to a level that I'm thinking, really, me?
Yeah.
But I think that's just because I enjoy what I do. I've never been one to, put myself on the pedestal, as it were.
Okay. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes you need to just otherwise just to let opportunity kind of see you, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, you had a business background, so as
yeah.
you've kind of gone into these business development roles, did you kind of have a grounding in it already, or as you've changed roles, has there been like training that has been provided to you, or have you had to kind of do it yourself and buy more books?
Uh,
Does that make sense?
yeah, no. So a lot of it is self-taught. We did have over the years, I've had various training stuff and presentation training and business writing training with the various companies I've had that they've
Yeah.
sort of supported out. The one thing I'd say is never say no. If someone wants to help or you've got an opportunity to learn more, just don't say no. Even if you think it's going to be irrelevant, it's always worth
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah. You never know when it's gonna come in handy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So is that how you end up in Hastings? Through
Well,
yeah, we never got to
no.
how you end up in Hastings.
So my dad's, he trained and studied at the local hospital here. So
Okay.
once he qualified, he then worked in learning disability home, or was mental
Yeah.
handicap home at the time, the big one. So they gave him an opportunity to run that. Then he sort of said, "Okay, we're going to set up home in Hastings."
Okay.
He loved being by the coast.
Yeah.
Being from Mauritius, it's an island life. Having the sea near us, it feels a little bit better. So
Yeah.
that's the reason I went to number seven, because
Right.
actually rather than being in Hastings the other way around, so because number seven is about 10-minute walk that way, so
Yeah.
it's not very far, and then positive
Yeah.
impact is about 15 minutes that way. Northampton's a little bit further north.
Yeah. Bit of a pain, I guess, for you.
Yeah,
And so I guess now you're what, more hybrid in
yes,
terms of
yeah. So
your role.
I don't really do stuff in the UK. I help
Yeah.
some practitioners, and I'll get messages if they remember me, if I was any useful at any one point. Or just get some abuse from Brian, whichever works out,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And then, but my main role is sort of like a level above it, if that makes sense. Sounds like I've got
Yeah.
a really big head, but I haven't. So, for example, the UK team, if they need some help or education or training, provide it to them because they know the market. The same in France, Netherlands,
Yeah.
wherever it is in Spain. And Australia, wherever the country is. And then if we need to do some stuff or support them or go to a conference, then we can do. But I haven't done a lot of that for the moment. But it's sort of
Okay.
teaching them to teach.
Yeah. And well, I mean, 30 minutes, mate. You know, time
Sorry.
flies, didn't it? Don't it? No, that's all right. That's makes it easier for me
But yeah,
if
so
we get to do it.
in terms of
Yeah.
answering your question, no, is mainly working from home
Yep.
unless I'm getting sort of not getting shipped, but I'm going to a different country or a different continent to help
Yep.
support the different markets.
Do you miss that hands-on in practice element of what you did?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I do get to see a little bit of it sometimes, but I don't think you ever get over the fact that you see a patient, especially a keratochronic patient, who's sort of counting fingers, and then you you help the practitioner fit the lens, and then they start looking at the detail of their hands,
Yeah.
and then they start crying. That never gets old.
No, you're right. And that's actually a really kind of nice segue, and a place to kind of phase this out. So I thank you. But before we go, question that I like to ask all of my guests, all 11 of you, professionally, life, it doesn't really matter. If there was a piece of advice you could give someone, and I think you gave one really nice piece of advice earlier, but if there was a piece of advice you could give, uh, let's say, to make it easier, someone in the industry, because this is pretty much an industry pod, what would you say to them? What piece of advice would you give an up and coming optom do about, let's say maybe they're a bit bored of being in the consulting room? What would you say to them?
So that's a tough one. I mean, there's several things. Be humble, make an opportunity. Obviously, if an opportunity comes up knocking, take it,
Yeah.
because you will only regret it. And I've had those opportunities come in the past, and I've regretted it. So take that leap of faith and make it. There's a reason why it's come to you. So to have a little bit of self-confidence, obviously being humble and not actually knowing why you wanted to interview me, do the podcast with me in the first place, is a bit different. And you know what? Just be a nice person. That's it. I'd sum it up. Be a nice person. Be a nice person, whether that's being helpful, just being a genuine person, you know, those sorts of things will help you out, because people will want to help you out in this industry. Absolutely. And there are other things rather than that small room with no windows. Well, I'd
Yeah.
say that, but you have got a big window in your consulting room, so that's a bit different.
And
Will it kick
it's
us out?
no. So I think I was hovering over a button, and so then I've managed to stop it and then restart it. So there might be a little bit of a weird cutout in the middle, but that's fine. These things happen. Luckily, I think you'd made your point
Hopefully.
before it
Sorry.
cut
I
out.
told you I like talking.
So with that, mate, I would like to thank you ever so much for taking the time to come on, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully we will run into each other at some point soon. Fingers crossed.
It'd be
If
good
you
to
are
catch up
up,
soon.
yeah, if you're up in Northampton, give me a shout,
Yeah, we'll do.
and we'll get together. All
Because I
right,
think
mate. Yeah, go
I
on.
was going to say the time we first met, it was at the opticians award. It wasn't in practice. It was, and you were eating a bowl of chips, and I turned around to you and went, "You're not going to eat anything else." And then obviously you explained to me why you're only eating a bowl of chips. Then I was like, "Okay,
There's always one,
cool."
mate. There's always one. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much. Thank you all for listening, taking a time to join us. And again, please like, share, follow. And thank you very, very much.
Take care, G. Thank you.